Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and today it's time to tackle the April Scrawlrchallenge. I have to say I am quite looking forward to it. The prompt is birds of a feather. I will probably do this in several small sittings, but by the magic of editing, obviously that won't make a difference to you. I'm still really struggling with my neck. I've hurt my neck and my shoulder, and this has been going on for maybe it's been festering for about a month and a half, but it's all kind of come to fruition and I can't sit for very long without it being painful. So the first step I'm going to do is just sketch out what I want to do. I am using the addition of an HB mechanical pencil for this and a kneaded eraser. The idea that I've got in my head, it's not really very well suited to the supplies we've got in the box, but it's one of those ones where I can't get it out of my head, so I'm just going to go with it and see what happens. So knowing the mixing properties of these paints and how vibrant the pigment is, I've decided to go for a set of comedy birds sitting on a tree branch, just generally being comedic. Probably would have been better suited to markers or ink, but I like the idea of putting water down on the paper and then maybe adding a few colours and just letting them mix together. So we're going to have some really colourful birds. So I need to sketch in a tree branch first of all. Maybe have some leaves on there as well. I don't know if I want the trunk of the tree in or not. I think that might take away from what I'm trying to achieve here. I think I'll take that out. So I'm going to have one hanging upside down. You know how when you're a kid you used to go into the play park? I think in America you guys call it a jungle gym, but we call it monkey bars. And you would swing your legs over and then hang upside down and just let everything hang out. That's what this little guy is going to be doing. I don't know if you'll be able to see his tail right enough, but... And then I think we'll have one maybe that's here and he's going to be in a bit of a huff. So we'll maybe flatten him down a little bit. Again, I'm thinking kind of like if anybody's ever seen the Disney version of Sword in the Stone, Archimedes the owl, when he gets a bit indignant, he squashes himself down and he kind of like puffs out a little bit, you know, like he's puffing his chest out. That's the kind of expression I've got like coming to mind here. So maybe a slightly grumpy bird. He's gonna be a little angry bird, and I'm kind of relying here on it's going to be the expression in the eyes because they've got beaks. You know, it's kind of difficult to get expressions in with the mouth. And maybe be able to see his tail poking down from there. Yeah, so he's kind of bristling a wee bit. He does look like one of the angry birds. Oh dear. I'd done for copyright infringement here. And then I think we'll maybe have one tormenting another one here. I had in my head maybe 4 or 5 birds, so maybe this one's slightly airborne or trying to be airborne. And he's got him by the tail feathers, so he's not going anywhere. I've just had a really funny idea. Maybe there's a bird up here and he's pooped on the grumpy bird. Oh yeah, that's the one. And maybe there's like a proper... like a splash puddle of... And he's gonna be flying. Is it? Everybody's got their wings out. I love this. That's disgusting. Okay, my sketch is ready. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lighten it up because I don't want the graphite muddying any of my paint, but I think I'm gonna go over with the China graph pencil first. So I'm going to have to keep things really, really sharp and we'll see how we do here. Okay, I've got a short memory. I've just realised that when I did the unboxing, we discovered that if we put the China graph pencil down first, it actually activated a little bit in the water and muddied things up. So I'm just going to stop there. Hopefully I haven't ruined too much, that would be nice. And I'm just going to start painting, I think. I do have the paint that I took out last time and I've just covered it up. Not that it matters if it dries out because it's quite easy to deactivate, but it might actually be easier to use in this form with the water brush. And I forgot the white had something stuck in it. We never really decided what that was. It looks like a fibre of something. It's annoying me, whatever it is. How dare you? Get out of my paint. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do my best with what's going on here with this black China graph. Oh, I don't have the energy to redraw this today. Like, I really don't. So I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 5 birds, and I need to decide on what kind of colours I'm going to use. I am going to utilise the white just because we've been given it. I'll maybe start with a little bit of this blue and see what happens here. Now I will do my best to keep away from the China graph pencil here. And maybe I want to grab a little bit of this green. Oh, this is tense. And just let that mix in together a little bit. Yeah. I'm just having to be really careful here that I don't upset too much of the pencil, but that's okay. So I'm thinking that maybe down his back is going to be mostly blue, and we'll have this a bit more concentrated. So I can go back over this, obviously. I love that this paint reactivates so easily as well. It just makes things like this, you know, if you're planning out like this, it makes it super easy to get to where you're going. And then down his back, I think, and into his tail, we'll make that just all blue in this bird. And then this his poor tail feathers. And then we'll grab a teeny bit of green at the bottom here. And he's going to have these little pantaloon bits, so they're going to be green. And then we've got this other wing here. Ooh, see, this is why I find this difficult with the water brush, because I'm finding it very hard to control the, you know, the dilution situation here. Yeah, I don't know about using a water brush with this. I suppose it's going to make for an interesting effect, if nothing else. And I think we'll mix ourselves an orange, a yellowish orange for the beak and the legs. I want to kind of keep that uniform across the whole thing, because it's the kind of like the factor that makes them the same, if you know what I mean, because they're all going to be different colours. This is why I'm using the paint that I used from the unboxing, because we only need a tiny amount of it, and you saw the amounts that I, you know, squeezed out the tubes. It really wasn't very much at all. The nice thing about using the water brush to do this is I do have a considerable amount of precision because of the point on this brush, and that's like a really, really nice thing. I'm quite enjoying myself with that. I'm just going to do this little dude's beak as well while we're here. Okay, so even from the point of view of mixing, I've just tried to mix a green there to just for some of these leaves on my branch, and it's really fiddly and really awkward because you're having to clean off the end of the water brush all the time. I don't know. I did voice my opinion on that when we did the unboxing, and my initial feelings about that are right, because it's just awkward. It's okay if you've got a massive palette of paints, you know, lots of different colours already mixed in pans or whatever. It's absolutely fine. Using a water brush is great because you can zip between them no problem. But when you're actually physically having to mix colours with your water brush, it's a bit laborious, because now I've got to clean that off. And it isn't the same as dipping a paintbrush in a pot of water. It's not the same thing at all. You've got to make sure it's completely clean and you've got no residue on there. I feel like the fibres of this brush are holding on to the paint, like really, like I'm not going to let you go. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting. So yeah, I'm going to wet these little feathers in here. I'll grab a wee bit of my blue and just dot that in there and see what it does. And then the same there, clean that off. And then do the same with the green. And it's just not travelling the same, like it's really not. Granted, that is a tiny, tiny area I've been working in, but still. So again here, now this is nice and dry, because I have been away, I took a wee break there. I'm just going to quick run my brush over this, and then just to dampen the surface, and I want to start building up a bit more vibrancy here. And I'll jump between them, you know, I'm just starting off with this one just now. I just feel as if this is very sort of dirty and muddy. We'll do the same here. Now see, the ends of my brush were starting to split there, which means the water flow wasn't coming down. Let's do it again. Give it a squeeze. Okay, there we go. The one thing I'm noticing about this water brush is that the actual nib part, it feels quite, I don't know if you can see that or not, it's actually moving in the casing. Now that in itself isn't a problem. What is a problem is that when that becomes really loose, and it happened to me with the Milan water brush, which I really, really liked. And it was a similar thing to this in that it had this sort of push button. It wasn't the same shape. And eventually, after a couple of months of use, I had to throw it out because the fibres, the nylon fibres, were actually disappearing up inside the ferrule, if you like. Which was a shame because I really liked that water brush, and I've got a funny feeling that this one would perhaps go the same way given half a chance. That's just speculation, of course. I would wager that would be the way of it. Now I want to get a couple of feathers in here, like this. I would have found this Scrawler challenge so much easier if I'd had a normal paintbrush though. Once again, a really good Scottish word for you. It's really footery, which means it's fiddly. It's a lot of kind of toing and froing, and although I have to say I'm getting on a lot better working with this paint hardened and just taking off what I need with the brush, because I can get really vibrant colour like this. And I'm going to grab a little bit of this white if I can. I'm going to smoosh that on there. Grab a bit of this blue. Well, that's not done much at all, and it's just for these little beads of sweat. I could probably have just done that with a normal watered down blue, but I did say I would use the white. Okay, my next bird along I want to make pink and purple, and I've just lifted some of that alizarin crimson and I'm having a terrible job getting it off my brush. I've been swiping about on this piece of paper for ages and it's still pink. I need this to be off of here so that I can mix some sort of purple. And now my brush is spitting out too much water. Wow, that's way too much water on there. Way too much. To mix a sort of paler pink, take the alizarin crimson and I'm going to mix in some of this white. Oh, I have no idea how that's going to dry, but we'll have to wait and see. Oh boy. While that's drying, I can go back to my branches here. Okay, so I want to have a yellow and orange bird as well. So again, I'll just do some awkward mixing here. This alizarin crimson is absolutely welded to these bristles and I don't know why. It's just a colour that really seems to like to stick to the brush for some reason. But now we know. That is also not blending as well. There is a very definite orange line there. You know, you can see where I've put that across. And even though I'm kind of scrubbing at it, it's not blending out properly. Well, that's disappointing. I was really hoping that we could continue on. Yeah, that's really weird. I have a feeling that it's the alizarin crimson because it seems to be a really stubborn colour. And now I've got basically two different coloured wings. Yeah, okay, that's really interesting actually. Yeah, it seems to be fine there. This yellow is so vibrant, I love it. Look at it, it's so yellow. It's so freaking yellow. He's a fat little bird, this one. I do have a thing about drawing plump birds. I don't know why I've got a thing about it, but I definitely do. It's definitely a thing. I don't know, I think maybe they just think they're cuter if they're fat. Right, okay, so I'm going to grab this purple colour again, which is once again suspiciously pink looking. It's so runny as well. Like, I've tried my best to let it like even out a little bit, dry out a little bit, but it's so wet. And now it's really diluted again because we've got this whole water brush situation going on, haven't we? Now this is where we're going to use the white paint, obviously, because we can make bird poop colour with white watercolour paint. I knew there was a reason for it. I am, of course, joking. Tongue in cheek, ladies and gentlemen, tongue in cheek. I've just realised as well, I never drew in this pink and purple bird's tail. He just doesn't have a tail. Trying to mix a bit of a darker brown. I'm so close to just going getting a paintbrush to mix with. I'm kind of losing my patience with this. Obviously, I'm not at my most patient at the moment. I am slightly irritable because I'm in pain. This would be different if I was just sitting having a wee jolly myself. That's an entirely different thing. You know, because you can sit and fiddle about to your heart's content, but I'm trying to film a video here, so. I was just wanting to mix a bit of a darker brown here, and it's just to add in some bits and pieces to our branch, because we want it to look a bit more woody. Woody. And this water brush is quite nice for this. It's got a nice point on it. When it's saturated though, it is quite fat at the end, but that's typical of most water brushes, you know, just because the bristles are holding a bit more water. The consistency of the water flow, which is the main thing, it's been okay, but I don't like the fact that this nylon nib, I can feel it rattling inside the casing, and it just makes it feel a bit unsteady, even though it's not moving about, you know, when I'm actually using it. It just feels a bit clanky is the word that I would use. Oh wow, well I'm so good with my vocabulary these days. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add in a little bit more blue here. So I'm getting into, this is like, I would call it like walnut brown. You know, you're heading into that sort of grey-ish territory almost. Because the danger with this as well is, and it happened with the up crate as well, you can end up in a sea of mid-tones. Now thankfully at least we have a black pencil here, so that kind of helps to alleviate some of that a little bit, but it's nice when you can actually do it with the colour. Okay, so I'm back to my purple, my dodgy, watery, purpley, pinky affair here. I'm not really enjoying this brush tip very much. It's not coming to point as much as I would like, and the alizarin crimson's causing me issues again as well. Okay, so I've just tried to mix a bit of that pink, and again the water brush is holding so much water and just not very much paint. My pink's looking a bit better now, that's better. Okay, no idea how or why we got into that situation there, but that seems to be a lot better. Okay, so I've sharpened up my Chinagraph pencil again, and I'm just going to outline this little dude here now that he's dry, and I'm trying not to press too hard because I want to keep as fine a line as possible, but also I don't want to have to be sharpening this pencil every 2 seconds because they're very, very soft. I have to say this is one of the better Chinagraph pencils that I've tried for sharpening with a sharpener. Now somebody in the comments in the unboxing mentioned, I've literally just said that and the lid snapped off. Somebody in the comments mentioned about you're supposed to use a knife to sharpen these pencils. I will not, for my own safety, I will not use a knife to sharpen a pencil ever because I have an unpredictable motor skill in my left hand, and all it would take is one twitch the wrong way and I'm going to end up hurting myself. So yeah, by all means, you know, you use a knife if that's what you want to do. It's something I personally can't do. I've got enough wrong with my hands without hacking lumps out myself as well. But that's just one of those things, we just deal with it and it's not a problem. Now I'm just going to fill this in with the pencil because obviously he's got his mouth open, he's laughing. And I can feel that the core of this pencil is wobbling, which means it's broken somewhere, maybe slightly further up from where it's sharpened. I'm pretty sure if I was to manipulate that, yeah, that's not going to last long. Oh, I shouldn't have opened my mouth. I've got a funny feeling that this little orange and yellow bird, I feel as if his name's Neville. And this pencil is really unnerving me because I can see it wobbling back and forth. Just waiting for it to snap. I've actually smudged the paper. Oh, that makes me sad. That's kind of ruined that a little bit for me. Not really. It's not meant to be erasable. This is the thing. Because you're not supposed to really use it on paper. Well, I mean, you can use them on paper, but it's not really what it was designed for. Oh, there we go. My lead's just fallen out again. I'm building up a collection here. I'm keeping them just off screen up there. At least it's not coming, the core's not snapping off in the sharpener, because that would be way worse. Because we've got little legs to do. Teeny weeny little birdie feet. Ooh. Now, I have to confess at this point, I'm actually really enjoying the way the pink turned out with the white in it. Yeah, shh. Okay, yeah. I know, you're all like, yeah, told you so. I think it just works really well with the sort of delicate nature of how my purpley shades turned out. I think they go really well together. It's actually quite nice. But again, this is, we're in a sort of illustrative form here. I think if I was doing a slightly more realistic painting, then perhaps not. I'm kind of losing these lovely brush strokes I've put out here with this pencil. You know, it's kind of destroying everything. This is the amount of sharpening I'm having to do. Obviously, the reason that this is a problem is because this pencil's not meant for outlining. I've just chosen to to use it for this purpose, but that's okay. And I realised I've forgotten these little pantaloons there as well. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try and mix up a little bit more of the green, the pale green that I used for my my leaves down here. And that was a little bit of the green that we got. And I basically just mixed in a little bit of yellow with it and a tiny spot of the brown, which was this, is it raw sienna? Yep, the raw sienna. So we'll see how we get on here. Maybe make it a little bit more vibrant. Good grief, Gem. Yeah, so let's do that, and we'll have it going into just the hooker's green. That will be quite a nice gradient. Now we've got to remember that he's got bird poop on him, and he's looking kind of upset about it here. So, and that's my brushes split again. So the water flow's just not flowing. But it is flowing, it is kind of flowing, it's just not flowing quick enough. Now the little guy that's upside down at the bottom here, I don't know what colour we should make him. I feel as if he should be the alizarin crimson. Maybe we'll just go flat out and we'll try and dilute it out as we go. I've given him really derpy lopsided eyes as well, that's what's making me chuckle. So I'm going to start with his wing. Now technically this should be easy because I'm not mixing in another colour of paint, so I really should just be able to, yeah, like keep going with the water brush, and technically the water brush should be doing all the work here. And once again, you can see I've got this stripe here, and it's just the alizarin crimson. I don't know what that's all about, but it's really annoying. He's a bit off shot there. My camera's away at a weird angle. Oh, there we go, that's better. That, do you know, that's been bugging me since I sat down. I think I must have bumped it when I was trying to get comfortable with my shoulder, and I thought, I felt as if it was I was at a funny angle, but I thought it was just because my shoulder's sore that I felt as if I was at a funny angle. Oh god, that doesn't make any sense. Stop talking, Gem. I'm sorry. Brain fart. Oh goodness me. That's funny. Oh well, at least I know I'm not losing my marbles entirely. So that's kind of nice. I thought this is weird. You know that it's like if someone has been driving your car and they move your seat and you spend ages fiddling about with it trying to get it back to where it was, and you've probably had it back where it's supposed to be at least 3 times, but it just doesn't feel right because you know someone else has been in the car. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting from this right now. Once again, just stop talking, Gem, come on. Oh, goodness gracious me. Okay, so at the top here, I can do the top part of his head. I say he does have little derpy eyes, and I'm kind of in love with that a little bit. So I can fill in this top part of his head, which is actually at the bottom. Try and get this really deep. Yeah. Right, I'm going to turn them the other way around just because it's easier for me. I've got to watch, don't put my hand in that in the China graph pencil and smudge it because we've already had enough of that. Thank you very much. The alizarin crimson, now I did say that, you know, a little of this paint goes a long way. It really does. The alizarin crimson's kind of ripping the something. It's so determined to hang on to the brush, and it is very difficult. Now you could, because you've got a constant water flow from this brush, you should be able to dilute this out fairly easily, and it's sticking to, and I've got a funny feeling it's a combination of the paint and this paper because I've used this paint before and I didn't have this problem with the alizarin crimson, so that might just be a combination thing, but it's making my job quite difficult here. And you can see that's standing out quite nicely next to the darker hooker's green. It's really nice. A bit of a gradient belly going on here. It looks a bit cheesed off. I would be too if my friend pooped on my head. Puffed his little wings out in indignation. Well, there's a good word for this time of day. Indignation. Some of that into the tail feather area here. I'm finding I'm having to press the button on this water brush quite a lot. You know, to get the water flowing. It's pretty dry right now, and I have pressed the button and I don't want to press it again because I don't want this glut of water. Yeah, this, although the barrel's different, this feels very similar to the Milan brush, and I loved that brush. I was really upset when it stopped working on me and I had to throw it out. It was traumatised. This little guy, oh look how crimson-y this is. I know I said that about the yellow as well, but it's true. Because he's kind of like hanging upside down, he's stretched out, he's going to have a bit of more of a sort of slimline silhouette than some of his little colourful counterparts. But this is where I really want to start gradating this out, and I'm having to clean off my brush so that there's no pigment on it, and then quick get back so that I can blend it out before it's stuck entirely to the paper. And you can see I've got quite a definitive line there. And if I pull down on this too much, I'm just going to end up with, you know, a uniform diluted version in the whole area. So I've managed to salvage that a little bit. Not much, it has to be said, but there is only so much we can do with this. Now it's time to mix the poop colour. It's hilarious. I'm actually really enjoying the way this is turning out. It's not something I wouldn't normally draw in this style, but I've mentioned this before, I don't really have a style, I don't think, but this is fun, I'm enjoying this. Right, okay, so we want to mix a poo colour. I also need to put a little bit of paint in Pink and Purple's pantaloon area, you know, above his leg. I'll just kind of try and dot that in there. There we go. Quite dark because it's in behind. Okay, so poop colour then, what I think I want to do is grab a little bit of this white and the sienna brown. Oh yes, because we can't leave it completely white on account of we'll not be able to see it, but oh yes, look. It's a perfect poop colour. Maybe not a perfect bird poop colour, but, you know, limitations. I can honestly say, hand on heart, in the 3 and a bit years I have been arting, I have never ever painted bird poop in watercolour. Now I think what I'll do as well is when that's dry, I'll take the white China graph pencil over it and I can add in some accents with the white pencil. Oh my god. Oh, what is wrong with me? Right, okay, last little bit of paint here. This alizarin crimson, honestly. And who said YouTube art wasn't highbrow? This water brush, the nib's not, it's not cohesive enough for me. It keeps splitting and I'm having to like put it back together with my finger. And I don't know why, there doesn't seem to be any particular reason for it. Okay, dokie, back we come, everything's dry now. I have added in a little bit more orange to Cheeky Bird up here just because he was looking a little bit washed out. And I did want to take advantage of these colours, so that's what I have done. So now it's time to outline the poop. Obviously a very important factoring feature in this very high quality artwork. It actually looks as if he's got a feathered cap on, you know, like a headdress, which is actually even funnier. I think we better put some action lines down here. There we go. There, very, very obvious that he's been pooped on now. Forgot all the nostrils. These birds have nostrils. I think I'll do all the toes first. While this is, oh no, where are we again? Whoa. Yeah, I'll try and do these toes first when my pencil is technically at its sharpest. Not doing too well with this here though. He's my favourite. I think hanging upside down's knocked him squiffy. That's what's wrong with him. That's what it is. And there we have it. Okay guys, there are my birds of a feather having a good old time to themselves. I'll just stick my name down in this bottom corner for a wee change. Normally I go left hand side, but today we're going right hand side and mix it up a bit. Yeah, so overall really happy with these paints. I love these paints. I do already have these in pan form, so these will be going into the stash shop to join the pre-existing Aquafines. So if you want any of these colours, check out the stash shop on the website on Sunday and they'll be in there for you to get for much cheapness, obviously. And yeah, I've really enjoyed myself today. I was dreading doing this video because of having to sit and, you know, like be distracted by my neck and my shoulder, but it's actually tickled me a little bit. It's really fun. I've just realised I've missed a line. I'll keep talking. It's really fun to do something like this because I don't normally, you know, I wouldn't normally take this route, and sometimes it's just nice. It's quite refreshing. Honestly, I've very much enjoyed myself. Obviously, we're not talking highbrow art here, and probably not the best use of watercolour, to be honest, but it was just one of those things that I really thought I would like to do, so I did. So I'll just use this white pencil here. So I would love to hear your thoughts and whether or not you've done your Scrawler challenge also. And I hope you've enjoyed yourself today, guys. So please take care. I'll see you back in the cave on Sunday for another video as normal. And yeah, that's about it for today. So bye for now, everyone.